Hello, World Tank Blitzers. It's Littlefinger doing a full tank review here on the IS-6. This is a Soviet Tier 8 heavy tank. Nice little camo, premium camo here. Some really sharp edges on it. It's actually got two guns. We'll get into that here in a second. But the reason for the review right now is because under offers here you can see 5,500 gold gets you the tank. It gets you the camo, the attachment. It gets you 7 days premium, a million credits, and all 9 equipment slots unlocked. Really good deal for the amount of money this costs. But I'll hold your horses here. I'm going to talk about the tank and whether or not it's really a tank that you're going to use frequently. Just to put this into perspective, let's take a look. Tier 8 tanks here, typically in the 7,000 range. So with everything else that you're getting extra, I mean, look at this. I've got the camo for free during the holiday event. But if I wanted to get this attachment, 2,500 gold. That's almost half the price of what they're selling the tank for. So, yeah, it looks really neat. And it's a tank that you used to see all of the time in Blitz because it was one of the few tanks, I think maybe the only tank that gave you priority with matchmaking because back in the day, matchmaking used to be +2, -2, meaning you could be a tier 8 facing tier 10s, and this one was guaranteed to only be one tier difference. So you don't see these tanks on the battlefield as much because there's a lot of other tanks that are very similar, in my opinion, that are just as good, if not better. But let's scroll on over here and just go through consumables. Obviously, repair kit, multi-purpose, adrenaline, provisions, running, condensed milk, the improved fuel, and extra combat rations. And as you can see here, heat is our premium ammo. Running 8 rounds, 16, 8, and 6. It's got a long reload. You're never going to use all of these. As far as equipment, using the gun rammer, and as you can see, it's a very pedestrian, less than 2,000 damage per minute for tier 8. It's not good. Defense system, improved optics. It's got enhanced gun lane drive, enhanced armor, engine accelerator, vertical stabilizer, enhanced tracks, and consumable delivery system. And as I mentioned here under upgrades, one of the few premium tanks where you do have a choice of gun. The D30 versus the D30A. And I run the D30A. Um, as you can see here, it's got much higher pen, but your damage per minute drops significantly. And I'll take a look at that here in a second. All right, guys, here is blitzstars.com, and I've got both IS-6s with the different guns. The one that I prefer, the D30A, and then the lower penetrating but higher damage per minute. I mean, look at this, 175. That's horrible, 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 horrible. And you basically just have to spam APCR, and that's only 217. So, very difficult tank to run, in my opinion. So, downside, heat is your premium ammo. Upside, 1400 is your shell velocity on that APCR. But again, look across the board here. We are the lowest in damage per minute of all of these tanks. 400 alpha is pretty standard across the board. So keep that in mind. When you're brawling, you're gonna get outshot. There's just no way around it. And so this is why I put it as a questionable tank to purchase. Aim time 2.8. It fits in line with some of these other Russian, Soviet, Chinese heavy tanks, all very similar style guns. 0.38 on the dispersion, and you'll see in this gameplay. Even if I aim fully in, I'm still missing shots. 6 degrees of gun depression. It's a Soviet challenge, right? You're used to it by now. 35 kilometers per hour is not, it does get around, but it again in line with the rest of the tank, so it's got no benefit whatsoever. And as we move on down here, we'll talk about the armor. 100 on your hull, 150 on the front, 150 on the sides. So you get a little bit of a boost on the sides, but frontally, all of these other tanks here in green have more armor. So why wouldn't you run a pike nose instead of this flat angled tank? It's I believe 180% credit coefficient. So again, right in line with all of these other premium tanks. And so we'll switch on over here to the armor inspector, and this is using Blitz World of Tank Armor Inspector. Really great website slash app. Does require membership subscription, but certainly well worth it. We can see here. As far as the armor goes, you're looking at 150 on the front of the turrets, 100 across the front of the hull. It's got this little square here in the middle that is 90, and then you've actually got 120 on the lower plate. You do have some spaced armor here and around the turret ring and gun mantlet, but apart from that, if we switch on back and give it a view here, this is the shooter of an IS-6 against an IS-6. So this is what you would see if you're facing yourself. There's your 6 degrees of gun depression. But really, there is nothing you can do to make your tank completely red. Obviously, if you get into much of the side, it turns green. So really, to minimize this, you're looking at shooting off the front drive wheel there. But again, all of that front is pennable. So obviously a very difficult tank to, as far as heavies go, to use the armor efficiently. So let's take a look at some gameplay. All right, guys, Himmelsdorf. Not a bad map for a heavy tank like this, but one of my least favorite maps in the game right now. Very one-dimensional, I think. Yeah, I'm with that Tiger P there, kind of over this map. It's kind of a little bit too flat. There's really no hills outside of these mounds, but I was playing this tank today a little bit aggressively, so you can see here quickly into D. And here we go. First taste of the accuracy there on the Helsing. Didn't even hit him. Not sure even where it went. Obviously, I did not aim. The trade-off there of just getting the cap in. And there's our second shot. We hit the front of the tank there. So he actually stopped, and so that was just bad aiming, really. But, we're 0 for 2 already here with our shots. I love this. No help. We've already lost one guy, and he's complaining that he didn't get help. Well, I guess don't YOLO by yourself, right? So you saw that Helsing looked at us, right? And we were wiggling and jiggling, and so he decided just to go for the easier target, the T-32. There's our 400 Alpha. We got a nice little roll there, 420. And you can see it, it gets up to speed here. We can go in the side of the Tiger P, no problem. This is quite amazing. This KV5 is AFK, and so I'm like, we gotta get rid of the live tanks first. Let's worry about the dead tanks last. And we have two guys that WZ. They go over there and they start farming damage off of a dead tank, an AFK tank. It's like, come on, guys. But I switched it over to heat there just to make sure we got the kill shot and didn't get some funny bounce. T-34 popped us. I know he's reloading. We should get one shot in here and get back in time. And you can hear him in the background there shooting that KV-5. Meanwhile, it's 2 on 2 here. And 2 on their AFK. So, you know, pretty good speed around the corner. We get an HE shot into the back of the T-49, but we lose our T-32 in the process. They are recapping C. They're kind of cornered. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get back into cap here, spin around, and, you know, make them make a decision here. We get a nice max roll there, trade shots, but here we go. The lucky bounce of the IS-6, and that'll do it for you guys. 3,264 damage, 4 kills. Obviously, we got that first cap early. We got the second cap. 70,000 credits, 1,200 EXP. Non-penetrating hits received 4. Victory point seized from the enemy 150, so obviously that helped play into that ace mastery game there. Alright guys, second game here, Middleburg, another supremacy game, and you know, this was a pretty wild, hectic game, but I just wanted to show you some of the differences in, you know, this tank and what you can expect. I hate putting just an ace mastery game on there and you guys thinking, oh wow, this is a great tank, but hopefully I highlighted some of those missed shots early on, and you're going to see that again here in this game. And as we get started, if you haven't already, please guys, hit that subscribe button. I'm begging you. Really, at this point, I'm begging you. I'm trying to get to 10,000, and I'm trying to keep putting out this great content. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it. So we've come up the middle, which is a pretty risky move here. Did not expect that I would get a scout medal out of this game, but there you go. That was pretty much fully aimed in, and you know, we just hit the dirt. I'm trying to make a run for it and get up the hill, but this Helsing has stopped in front of me, and you know, I'm just trying to stay under the ridge line here, so to speak. And then just now I can get up. The Helsing's moved. We can block a few shots there with our turret. We'll get that one into the E25. But yeah, so making a subscriber drive this month. Really would like to try to add 500 new subs this month and help me get well on my way to 10K. We're going to push the Pantera. That Lycan there was in trouble. So just trying to push him off and keep one of our friendlies in the game a little bit longer. We got some crazy SP1C driver there. Fun stuff. Love me some light tanks. But using the terrain here, knowing if I go right, I can get a little bit of gun depression added because my tank is pointing down, you can see. And there's the push that they made there on the Helsing. And watch this. That's just annoying. When you're in a close game like this, you're down 2 caps, you're down a tank, you really want that kill shot to go in. But as you can see, I mean, this game has been all over. The IS is pushing up. But obviously they're at 720. We got to start getting some kills. So even though I'm going to get shot in the butt here, we'll get a kill shot. Take a big one from the VK. He's reloading. I'm trying to get around the corner before he's reloaded. That was that dragon coming in at us. There's another one. We're able to get around and get a kill shot there just in time. Crazy game. And now all of a sudden we're up 4 tanks to 2, and oops. We get rammed to death by the VK. I'll speed this up real quick because we do go on to win this game. Our light tanks basically just run away at this point. And let's face it, who can blame them? You've got a VK there, it's a tough tank. You've got an IS, and you've got an SP1C. So there it is. Capped out, end of game. A little bit of craziness for sure. But look at this. 2,000 damage, 54,000 credits. We get a scout, we get a patrol duty. Not something you typically do in a heavy tank. But again, I think that shows you the trouble with the gun, the ability to be a little bit of a bully on the battlefield, and put out decent numbers. Alright, and the final game I'm going to show here is Oasis Palm. Again, another Supremacy. And this one's just the difficulty in obviously playing Supremacy. Playing with some people that probably don't know what they're doing in the tanks that they're driving. And just show you where this one ends up. But before I make any comment on the value of this deal, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. One more plea to you guys. Now, 5,500 gold for this tank equates to just under $20. For your average Blitz player, I would say pass. Yeah, it's a great deal for everything that you get, but to me, I've had this tank a while now, and I don't consider it a tank that I want to pull out of the garage and play it over most any other tanks. Probably the only time I'm going to play it is if I'm just grinding credits and it's a 2x multiplier and 180% credit coefficient. I'll play it till I get my win and move on. But you've seen my garage. I think I have over 300 tanks now. So obviously I have a lot to choose from. Some of you who might only have 10 or 12 tanks might be a little bit different. As you saw, we missed that shot on the Tiger P, even though I fully aimed in. So, it's a kind of a hard maybe. I'm the collector. I want to own every tank in the game. That's just one of my goals. So of course, yeah, I have it. But like I said, not a tank, that you think of playing. Not a tank you're going to see really very much in tournaments. This gun is just not accurate enough. The armor, you just can't protect yourself enough. So, while it's a historic tank, it's got a lot going for it. It's just tier 8 premiums. They're a dime a dozen almost. There's so many of them. And so I really didn't talk about this game too much, but I don't know if you noticed our E25, a tank that should have stayed in the back, sniping away, ran straight into Cap C and got obliterated. I think lost every single hit point within the first 30 seconds of this game. And then we quickly lost another tank. And the reason I pulled into the middle here, which I'm surrounded now, was I was trying to protect our defender. But at this point, you can see I'm getting shot from every direction. We're getting a few bounces here and there, but it's just not enough to survive. This one, was a loss from the start. Our meds just absolutely blew this one, and that's it happens. It's typical. It's very frequent in the game, especially recently. Now that you can get to tier 8 in basically one game. But you can see 2595 in damage, decent amount of money. We had 2 tanks with less than 4 damage. So use that as you will. I think it's a great deal money-wise, but probably not a tank you're going to play too much. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, guys. Have fun out there, and that's what it's all about, right? Having fun. Um, appreciate the view. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And as always, guys, have fun out there. Stay safe. Get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.